So it's time once again for one of my favorite segments here on the show, hashtag My Money Story with Expresso, where each week, we sit down with someone who has made a success in their respective field to learn a little bit more about that all-important relationship that they share with money and, of course, the lessons they've learned along the way. So our guest today has been part of the writing team of ZA or ZA News that has won 2 SAFTA awards. He appeared in commercials for pretty much every brand that has ever operated in South Africa. And most of all, he has made a name as one of the top South African comedians, and he's an awesome gent, currently performing at the Cape Town Comedy Club. This week, it's Mumsy.
What's happening? What's happening? How are you?
Very good. It's awesome to see you, dude. Busy man at the moment.
Yeah, very busy. I've got to stay busy, you know what I mean? Like, if I don't stay busy, I'll end up doing something ridiculous.
Oh, you don't earn any dollars, dude. You ain't getting paid. And, of course, Grant Vinzel joins us.
You're not the comedian. Right?
But I'll try, man. I'll try.
But thanks for making time for us, though.
No, of course. I mean, I find it funny that you guys wanted a comedian to talk about money. I was like,
well,
this is going to be exciting.
I mean, like, we need a successful comedian. Well, I've got a list. It's not very long, but it is. But that's the truth of it, man. It's tough out there. You work in a very cutthroat industry that, yes, is about laughs, but it ain't no laughing matter when you've got to really put bread on the table and you've got to make a success of this very creative field. Taking a few steps back, can you remember your first kind of relevant memory of money?
My first memory of money, actually, you know, my first... okay, so my dad was like, we come from a very poor family. Which is great, so I'm still poor now.
Continuity.
Haven't really come a long way. But it was actually weird because like my dad was one of those guys who, if something cost R2.67, he paid R2.67.
Yeah.
If something cost R5.27, he paid R5.27. So the first time that I actually went with one of my friends' moms, and they went to a shop, and they gave a note and got money back. That was the first time I ever experienced change in my life. I was like, I want in on this money back guarantee thing. This is the most exciting thing ever.
Oh my God, I can get some money out of this machine.
Your dad was the reason why we did away with the 2-cent coin, dude. But it's good because I'm assuming that's instilled a very valuable lesson about the value of every cent and how you can make that work for you. And when you look back over the lessons that you've learned, and I'm sure in the entertainment field you've learned many hardcore lessons about money, what are some of those that stand out?
I think the biggest, especially in entertainment, is that like most of the time you find yourself in a position where you'll be very busy, right? Yeah. And it's very exciting, doing lots of gigs and lots of work and everything. And then there's going to be that long period or that short period, depending on how successful you are. For me, it's a short period. But in that period, you really need to make sure that you would have prepared for, you know, the fact that you're not going to be getting as many regular jobs as you usually get, you know? And that's where you actually require things like investments or at least some kind of understanding of savings.
This seems to be something, Grant, that comes up a lot. Continuity and discipline. Yeah. Don't just enjoy the good times, but prepare for the bad.
You know, when it comes to the freelancing space, because that's pretty much what actors are, what you're doing, is a freelance. And, you know, whenever I sit down with someone in those sort of professions, I always say, you know, that is the very profession that needs to have a proper budget. Because those are the guys that are always like, you know what, I'll just, whenever money comes in, I'll kind of just do what I need to do, you know? And I'm like, whoa, what happens if it doesn't come in for like 3 or 4 months, you know? And then you get these big paychecks and then you have to live for another 3 or 4 months, whatever the case. So I think it's really important to understand, and what you do know is that, you know, these things are coming and going as they come, you know, but at the end of the day, if you manage your money properly and if you have like what we call an emergency fund so that you can pull money out of for rainy days, and then you don't actually even have to worry about a thing. And you know what I find is when we're dealing with guys that are in this space, if you create that stable or that stability, they're more creative.
You can be better at your job.
Way more creative. Although, how funny is that? And then you get more jobs.
I don't know if that works for comedians, dude, because I think, unfortunately, you're constantly making light of the dark side, really.
Yeah. No, it's like, no one wants to hear, like, I've got money jokes. No. Poor jokes win, like, they work.
It's the first and the last time you're going to drop that particular punchline, dude. But, Mumsy, awesome to have you here. And I know you've got a couple of questions for Grant, so he's going to prepare his big old brain for that. But we'd love for you to weigh in as well. Think about your hashtag money story, and let us know if there's anything you want us to plug into Grant's big old brain for. But stay tuned. We're going to continue this very interesting discussion a little bit later in the show.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
So we're continuing hashtag My Money Story. We've got an awesome panel this morning. Grant Vincel, always here, always awesome. Mumsy, an award-winning comedian, and a guy who really is proving that you can take your art, your passion, no matter how creative and high risk it is, and make a success of it. Whatever you define success to be. And I know part of that is family. Some of it has to be financial. So, dude, I know, I'm sure like me, you have a lot of questions relating to your financial well-being. But now we've got Grant here. We've got an opportunity for you to ask probably the most important question. So what really stands out for you? What big questions do you have for the man?
Okay, so realistically...
No.
When the comedian says realistically, then you don't know what's coming.
Okay, so every single time that every year, seriously, every year when it comes to the tax, the tax returns, right? So this is actually quite a burning thing for me.
Yeah, me too.
I always just hand over everything to my tax practitioner because I actually have no idea what is going on and what to do, right? However, being in entertainment and freelancing, there are certain things that there's certain expenses that are going to be tax deductible.
Yeah.
And I could actually prepare for in my actual purchasing decisions that would also help my taxes.
Sure.
That for me is, how do I figure that out? Do you know what I mean?
That is one of the coolest questions we've actually had, and also very relevant to me as well.
Yeah,
Very
so
cool.
a lot of freelancers, because you're a sole proprietor, right? You are the company, so you are the brand. So at the end of the day, I would say everyone would be different, but you would want to get whoever you're dealing with, your tax practitioner, to sit down with you and give you a list and say, listen, dude, you can write this off as tax from a tax thing. So most of the time, if you're taking a big client out for a meal, you know, that should be something you could be able to write off as tax. But if you're taking your girlfriend out for a meal, you can't say, listen, I'm taking my client out for a meal, you know?
Unless your girlfriend is your client.
I was going to say, then you're in trouble.
Then there's no hope.
You don't want to pay girlfriends to be your girlfriend.
Well, I've made that mistake. I'm kidding. It's a family show.
So I think you're 100% on the money. You need to definitely get your list of things, and there'll literally be a few items that you could definitely write off as tax, as a tax deduction. Getting to understand that and know that is quite easy. It's not something that's complicated. Whenever people talk about tax, everyone goes blank, you know?
It's intimidating.
They're like, listen, I've got a tax practitioner, I'm going to pay him and he'll sort it out for me. It's really not that complicated, and you'll be able to get your head around it very quickly. It's just about, like anything in life, you just have to apply your mind, really. Once you've applied your mind, it'll take you maybe 3 to 4 months to understand what's going on, and then it's done.
I would certainly add to it, getting seriously here. You've got to be educated yourself, because you don't know, as much as, yes, we can trust the majority of tax practitioners out there, things can happen that are out of your control when you're not taking cognizance of that entire process. So you have to, as someone who's been burned in the past, I've now, by educating myself, I feel so much more secure and protected, and I'm getting so much more back because I know. Dude, thank you so much. I know you're performing at the Cape Town Comedy Club tonight, so if you thought he was funny today, that wasn't barely even scratching the surface, dude. But thank you for getting serious with us for a moment, and all the best to you and your 2 beautiful girls.
Thank you.
That's a full-time job right there. Grant, thank you so much, man. I know it takes a lot to demystify these things, especially when it comes to tax, but that's the bottom line, guys. You've got to educate yourself, and you be that front line of defense. Don't just trust your tax practitioner, but you just educate yourself, and you'll be amazed at how much more you can get out of your financial life and well-being.
Yes.